Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Non-League Heroes podcast with your host, just me tonight. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, it is just myself with you and a couple of great guests. So we look forward to that later on in the show, but just a roundup of the previous week. Obviously, the bank holiday weekend saw a whole host of playoff finals. Most notably on Monday, the 5th of May, so Bank Holiday Monday was obviously the last round of fixtures for the Vanarama National League and playoff finals at Step 3 and the majority of Step 4. So just going to have a run through that. We'll also touch on the FA Sunday Cup that was played on Sunday the 4th of May at Stadium MK. We'll also look ahead to the FA Vase and FA Trophy this weekend, and of course the controversy surrounding the Combined Counties South playoffs. So if we just take a look at the playoffs from Step 3, so Worksop beat Guiseley 2-1 and go up to the National League North. Dover Athletic won away at Dartford for promotion straight back into the National League South. Kettering were leading 1-0 at home to AFC Telford in the Premier Central playoff, however, did lose 4-2 on the day and therefore stay at Step 3 with AFC Telford gaining promotion, assuming National League North on that, and AFC Tottenham finally got out of the Southern Premier South after beating Gloucester City 1-0. So congratulations to all those 4 teams moving up into Step 2 next season. In the Southern League Central Division, in Step 4, Berkhamsted, absolutely annihilated Flackwell Heath in that final there, and they now got up to Step 3. In the Southern League South Division, at Step 4, Evesham beat Malvern 1-0 as well, so they go into Step 3 next season. So congratulations to those teams. Down at Step 5, VCD Athletic beat Fisher 2-1 to elevate themselves into Step 4. On Sunday, the 4th of May, Uxbridge beat Hamworth Villa 2-1 to gain promotion to Step 3. And going even further back on Saturday, Stockbridge Park Steels, which is obviously famous for producing Jamie Vardy, won the Northern Premier League East Division and are promoted to Step 3. In the Midlands Division of the Northern Premier League, Corby Town lost 2-1 at home to Worcester City. In the Northern Premier League West, Hednesford beat Congleton. And in the Isthmian League North, Brightlingsea were beaten 1-0 by Bury Town. Also had some Step 5, so Bedfont Sports beat Harefield United in the Combined Counties North. Takeley beat Woodford 2-0 in the Essex Senior Premier League. And in the Northern League Division 2, Thornaby beat Jarrow 4-2 away from home. And Essie Dons or Forest Hill Park travelled to Soul Tower Hamlets, and after 0-0 in 90 minutes, Soul Tower Hamlets won 5-4 on penalties. So SC Dons stay in Step 6. The Combined County South playoff has obviously raised a lot of questions. There's been a lot of discussion around it in terms of, I guess, the sporting integrity of now the league and the way it's ended. But as we understand at Non-League Heroes, Red Hill have until today, so the 9th of May, to lodge their decision around a separate appeal. We understand they've been charged by the FA and the league, but we are yet to understand what the punishment is, whether it will just be a fine or a points deduction. But this story is ever evolving, so we will keep up to date with the goings on there. So head over to our Twitter page to find out the latest information on the Combined County South. But as I said, as we understand, it's now on Red Hill's decision whether they want to appeal. Obviously, they'll have 7 days to do so and provide their appeal. So this could drag on and on and on. The playoffs have to be done by the end of May. So the longer this goes on, the more at risk obviously they are. So we just need to kind of understand what they've been charged with, what the appeal may be, and if obviously they are going to appeal. But moving aside from that, the FA Vase final and the FA Trophy finals take place at Wembley this Sunday. Non-league heroes will be there providing coverage and updates throughout the day. So keep an eye on our socials across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We will be there within the media area, giving interviews, bringing you live atmosphere, giving you reactions to the game, updates. As at the moment, the game is not being broadcast on television. TalkSport 2 have the commentary rights with the Zuzu, the sponsors of the FA Trophy and the Vase, streaming live on their YouTube. There's a lot of opportunity there for us to cover that for you, and we'll be doing our best to do so. But looking ahead to the game, the FA Vase, obviously AFC Whiteleaf, we've touted for months now that they are the favourites to win it. They host, or they don't host, they come up against Whitstable, who were defeated in their playoff semi-final against Fisher on penalties just a couple of weeks ago. So AFC Whiteleaf have also been playing games. They played in the League Cup, the Combined Counties League Cup, but were eliminated by Hawley. So they have been keeping fit. Obviously, a few of their players have been playing Ballers League as well. So they should be fit. The mentality we hope is there, but obviously with this lingering, are they playing the playoffs? Will they be Combined Counties champions? We'll wait to see how that affects them. But the game on a whole is looking great. It's looking like a really good spectacle. Both really good teams going forwards, and expecting to see goals, which is quite rare for an FA Vase final. Quite a lot of them have been won by the odd margin here or there over the last decade. So really looking forward to that. And in the FA Trophy, Aldershot taking on Spennymoor Town. So Spennymoor, the real underdogs here, being step 2. But they've had a great run to the final, beating some big teams. So they'll be boosted by a crowd of, I think, over 4,000 they sold as of Thursday the 8th. But Aldershot, I mean, they're very, very well supported anyway. But with well over 20,000 tickets now sold, they're obviously going to eclipse any support that's at Wembley on Sunday. And I'm fully expecting them to make that count. It'll feel like a home game to them, I believe, due to the atmosphere. So personally, for me, I can see a Whiteleaf and Aldershot double on the day, but cup finals, anything can happen. Spennymoor coming in as great underdogs, which I think will suit them. 2 fantastic games on a fantastic day for the pinnacle of non-league. And we'll be there to take you all the way. So without listening to me ramble on to myself, which is quite a weird thing, I've got to say, bit difficult doing it without a co-host, but it's now time to welcome our first guest of the evening, which I'm very excited about. I've watched him a few times down at Folkestone. He has played professional football as well. He's a 2-time best-selling author, and he's recently been announced as the Hythe Town manager following their relegation into Step 5. So I'm delighted to welcome Ira Jackson Jr. Ira, thank you for joining me this evening. How's things? How are you doing?
Things are good. Very busy, but definitely privileged to have this conversation. So looking forward to it.
Good. Well, firstly, congratulations on the appointment at Hythe Town from next season. How did that opportunity come about?
I put an application in, to be fair, and it was kind of one of those where you start putting in applications because I didn't know what was going on with Sheppey for the new season, but I knew that the new manager hadn't spoken to me about staying on the coaching staff, so I kind of assumed that, okay, I might need to look for somewhere else. So I put in a couple of applications, one at one at Hythe, and one at another club in Step 6. Had a great interview with the Step 6 club, and was waiting to hear back from them. and then the Hive opportunity kind of came. I wasn't sure I would get spoken to again. Put it in and see what happens up, because obviously I know what non-league's like, so I kind of had the thought that on the odd chance that the chairman wants to do something different, he might pick me. But if he wants to do the usual, then he won't vote for me.
Well, luckily he didn't. I mean, you've got to take your chances when they come, right?
For sure.
There was no need not to go for it. So what's the plan there next year? Is it a bit of a rebuild job? Obviously, they've dropped into step 5 for the first time in 14 years. Is it one of them, or are you looking to take them straight back up?
Well, we're looking to rebuild. As you can imagine, last year we had a step 4 budget with players who are probably good enough, or maybe some of them should be playing at high levels in step 4. But it just didn't come together. Credit to the manager for sticking it out for as long as he did, because, from the reports that I've heard, things were quite tough, and obviously you can see by the reports that things weren't good as well. So we're going to need to rebuild. One aspect of that is the actual playing side, in terms of we've got a lot of players that have just helped us get relegated. And so, we need to make sure that we get the right kind of characters in the building, the right type of, fresh blood in the building. And obviously, as a new manager, I don't want to come in and just keep the same players, especially with the budget that they got last year. I don't think that would be the right thing to do. And I've had a chat with basically every player that was here last year. Managed to get that done in about 3 days, just because I thought it was really important that before, things got publicly announced and, they started being uncertain about their futures, that at least I'd had a chat with them. So yeah, it will be a rebuild. And also we need to change the mentality. There was a lot of stuff that was going on at the club. A lot of, players that I spoke to who couldn't train and things like that. That's not the type of mentality that I want to work with. I'm a coach as well as a manager, so I want to develop people and develop players. And so it's really important that we change, the mentality, we change the culture, we reset everything. And, there's going to be casualties of that, in the sense of, people, players, but also there will be people that are attracted to the difference that's coming in. And so they might be like, you know what, I'm going to come to pre-season, I'm going to prove that I should still be here. And that's the type of mentality that I want around the club. I don't want people who feel like they should be playing a high level. I want people who feel like they want to play a high level, because there are 2 different types of mentalities there. One feels entitled and probably isn't going to give everything, but the other one is like, how can I have to prove this? And they're going to give me everything on the pitch. And ultimately, the fans deserve a group of players that want to give everything for the club, and want to give everything to try and get the club back to where it's supposed to be. And by that, I don't mean step 4. I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that age-old thing, isn't it, where it's playing games rather than thinking you're a step 4, step 3 player because you sit on the bench every week. It's one of those. That's the mentality thing, isn't it? But obviously, still being very young yourself, why into management now and not? Because obviously you could still play.
I could, and I could earn a good penny doing it, but it's that very fact as to why I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to be a player anymore. I don't enjoy it. And I kind of started to notice that in the last season and a bit at Folkestone, that I got more joy out of helping the younger players to improve than out of playing. And so it came to a point where, and I've said this before, so it's not news, I got into the car park at training, and my wife was there with me, because we'd just been somewhere before, and she was just like, I said to her, I don't want to be here. And I'd never said that before. And it was at that moment that I realised, okay, everything's come together now, and it's time for me to hang them up. I decided I was going to take a break first, just to see if it was an emotional decision, or, whether it was circumstantial because of injury, or, coming back from injury, or the team not playing well, or whatever. But after I took a good while to think about it, I realised that I was making the right decision. And so I wanted to go into coaching seriously, but obviously the amount of hours I was spending training myself, the amount of hours I was spending training with the club, it just didn't allow me to do that. And so, because I realised I was kind of coming to the end of my trip as a player, I wanted to make sure that I could give everything to the manager side. And yeah, fortunately enough, it's been a year, and yeah, it's been a great one so far.
Yeah, well, it's obviously the right decision for you. Like you said, you took that time away to really think about the decision because, like you said, you can still play, and obviously at Folkestone, you probably know you got a home there for life if you wanted it.
For sure.
After the spells you've had there. So just going back to your playing days, obviously you moved around the higher levels of like Kent and probably into like Sussex with Worthing. You actually play for Ramsgate, Ashford, Canterbury City as well.
Yeah, loads of them.
Yeah. Then you finally settled and had a great spell at Folkestone, scoring 28 and 47 in those couple of seasons before moving to Grimsby. What was it about Folkestone in that first spell that really stuck? I mean, I watched you a couple of times down there. My in-laws are down in Folkestone, so I wanted to touch on it. But yeah, what do you think made it stuck there more than where you were at previously?
I think the club was stable. I think one of the big things that I needed in my career was stability. I'd backed myself since I was 16, saying that I'm better than anything that you've got, and I tried to prove it. And I didn't necessarily at first realize the amount of politics that were involved. And so when I got to a stable club with an honest manager, it just made things easier because I'm an honest person. So if I tell you that I'm committed to this club, that's what you should expect. I the same manager, and Cogs was very honest with me when I first came in. He was like, "Look, you're probably not going to play much because I've already got my team. But if you get an opportunity and you take it, then you've already seen that I've had players here for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. You know, keep the same 11. So you know that if you get an opportunity, then you've kind of written yourself into the team." And obviously, at first, I'm taking it because it's my new manager. But after a while, you know, he proved through his actions and through his communication that he was an honest person. And so if he asked me to come back and play now, I would consider it more than playing for anybody else. Not because I want to play, but because of the relationship that I have with him. And so he was more than just a football manager. He cared about me as a person. He cared about my vision, my goals, my plans for my life. And he wanted to make sure that if I was going to be at his club, that he helped make that happen. Whereas some managers kind of just like, you're just a number to them. Whereas to Cogs, he was like, you're young, you're ambitious, you want to play at the high level. How can I help you to do that? And so having a stable team, having players that would push me to be better, having players that would tell me to calm down if I'm getting too, you know, that pressured on myself. But then having that fine balance of you're the kid, but yet still you've got that pressure and that expectation to be the match winner for us. I think I really enjoyed that. But everywhere else, I didn't really get that trust. And when I had it, I delivered. When I didn't, if that makes sense. So it was and
is that something you're looking to instill in yourself as a manager? Are you taking that lesson?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the keys for me that is a life key rather than a football key is that everybody who plays football is a person. And I think one of the things I've instilled as a coach is trying to get to know the clients that I have as individuals. For example, when I coach kids, I always ask them about school. I always ask them about, you know, what's the latest game that they're playing. I want to know about them because in order to do that, I can help to build a bridge. And they're more likely to trust me with information and more likely to trust me when I'm sharing something that's critical with them than if I was just like, all right, cool. And then what's your name again? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so then when I jumped into management at 23s level, I had individual phone conversations with every single player before I brought them into pre-season. I asked them what are their life goals as a human. Forget football. What makes you tick as a human? And I think Cogs was a great example of that it actually happens in football. And even still to this day, he'll still message me. He'll ask me how my son is. Because we just gave birth in December. He'll, you know, congratulated me on live and stuff like that. So for me, a big part of, you know, the player performing on the football pitch is that the person is okay. And so I think that's definitely something I've taken from Cogs.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, congratulations on the birth of your child.
Which,
That's obviously a great life achievement. So the first time focusing, then you signed for Grimsby in 2020. I'm assuming on a pro contract. What changed in your life when you went up to that level? Was there much change? Obviously, the location's massively different.
yeah, I think the location was the big thing, and I guess it was just seeing non-league politics in a professional environment. I thought it was isolated non-league, but yeah, similar stuff, just a different environment. It was a shock for me at first because I was expecting ultra professionalism. I was expecting level playing fields. I was expecting if you train hard, you'll get a chance because it's not the non-league system. But I just found that just the same as people in football are humans. It's the same at pro level. They're humans, and if they have favourites, they have favourites. There's really nothing you can do about it. And if they come in and your face doesn't fit, there's still nothing you can do about it. And as much as I tried and worked hard, I probably could have gone on home when I was offered the opportunity. But I genuinely believed that I deserved to be playing and I deserved to get an opportunity. But yeah, it didn't materialise. And then after that, we just decided to call it quits because I'm 400 miles from home. I'm not playing football. I'm training my butt off every single day. I've put my body through absolute inhumane scrutiny to be able to accomplish the goals that I said I wanted to. And it's not even being rewarded. So it's like, I'll just find somewhere else. So yeah.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. I mean, so you were there a season, and then you moved, I guess, further down south. So you went to Wealdstone after that. Was that National League?
Yeah, I went to Wealdstone in National League. Yeah.
It seems you've done all right there. 23, 4 goals.
Yeah, it was, and again, I think I started about 7 games, and again, it was another situation of, the assistant manager is the one that's hyped you up to the manager, and the manager brought you in based off the assistant manager's recommendation. But the assistant manager isn't making the decisions at the end of the day. Like, it's the manager, and the manager had a vision in mind, but didn't realise the type of player that I was because he wasn't the one that saw me. It was assistant, and so what he believed, could work, would work, and then if for one game it didn't, he's like, oh no, I don't want that anymore. I'm going back to the stuff I was doing before. And so again, it's football, and it's working with people, it's dealing with people who have different opinions, have different situations. You've got to deal with injuries, you've got to deal with somebody getting brought in on loan, somebody coming back from injury, and then now you're no longer in the team. But it's all learning, and I think for me, I've learned so much from all of the experiences, and probably way more from the negative experiences than the positive ones. I think the positives are only a product of how I've managed to learn from all the negative experiences, whether it's underperforming, whether it's politics, whether it's, you pick the wrong club, because as much as players don't like to admit that, sometimes we make the wrong choices with the clubs that we go to. You pick it for state rather than picking it for actually seeing a trajectory in your career there. And so as I played football, I had to learn those lessons. And in the end, it got to the point where it was like, okay, cool. I'm happy to be done now. I've achieved the goal of being a pro. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It wasn't really that great. Obviously, I wasn't in the Prem, so I can't talk about the Prem, but it wasn't as great as it was being. So, yeah, I was just like, I'm okay to leave it and want to go back. And I don't ever want money to be the driver for me going back either.
No, that's really good to hear, actually, because like you say, I'd say 90% of young boys' dreams are to be a professional footballer. So to I'm going to link it to your book a little bit, to have that societal stereotype of it's the be all and end all. It's clearly not, and it's clearly some, I don't know the words to describe it, but there's quite a lot of players that drop out or are just there because they think it's the right thing to do, whereas you kind of learn at an early age it wasn't right for you, and you were more around coaching and developing people, and that was more your purpose than just having that status as a professional footballer.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I always say to people, whenever you're picking a career, and I do career workshops and stuff now, and I say to them, like, you need to understand the difference between ambition and purpose. Ambition is very short term, very goal driven. And so my ambition was what got me to become a professional footballer, because I did everything capable of doing it. And then I got there. And then when I got there, I was like, is that it? And if I picked based on purpose, would I have become a professional footballer? I still think I probably would have, but it wouldn't have been as emotionally draining, because I'd have known it's a means to an end, rather than, oh my gosh, this is the pinnacle of life. It can't get any better than this. And then you realize, if it can't get any better than this, my life sucks. Look, I'm honest enough to say that, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position that most people want to be in. And I was one of the people that wanted to be in it. But in all of that, I still advise players, young people, if you want to become a pro, do everything possible to become it. But don't think that your life ends if you don't. And that's what I can say, because there is more to life than football. There really is. There's more to life than being a football player, because there's so many careers within football that you can have. And obviously my life has proven that. In the sense of coaching, in the sense of mentoring players, in the sense of now managing as well. There is a lot more that you can do. You know, there's punditry and all those different things. So, it's important for people to understand that football is a job, okay? And when you understand it's a job, you treat it a little different to it being your passion. Because when it's your passion, you go into it and you take out all of the red flags and you just go in with pure emotion. You don't treat yourself and you don't hold people accountable for the way that you're treated. You don't want to be compensated properly either. You just go in, it's like, I just want to do it, it's my dream. And it's like, yeah, but you're being taken advantage of. This is a job. When you take it like a job, you're there to get paid, you're there to fulfill a service. That's what you're there for. And I think that's one thing I learned. I probably still would have been playing football now if at the age of 15, 16, I saw football as a job and not as my career goal, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Achieve. And so, I recommend to players all the time, like, if you are going to do football, it is a job, and treat it like one, you know. And that will help you to disseminate emotionally and mentally within your head all the rubbish that goes on. It's just part of the job. It's not personal. And even if it is personal, it still isn't personal. It's just part of the job. And that will make a lot of players still playing.
Yeah, and I think that's really refreshing for a lot of people to hear as well, because like I said, everyone growing up, it is that emotional drive, it is that passion. And I think a lot of players, especially in non-league, it is emotionally driven, and that's why I think there is a lot of fallings out, a lot of politics around teams and in clubs, because at that level, a lot of it is emotionally driven.
Yeah.
Do you think there's enough out there? I'm not saying at the elite level, but maybe younger players that drop out of the game early as a player, like you did, enough support for them to then find their path after that? Or do you think more should be done?
I think more should be done. And that's one of the big reasons why I do an off-season camp for players. We do workshops, and we make an emphasis and a point every year of doing workshops surrounding football. So it's not all just about football. You know, we've got a workshop that we'll be doing at ours this summer around careers, you know, a careers workshop. I'll be really up to do it. We have to do everything. It's just helping people to understand there really is more to life than football. But even if you are going to become a footballer, there's more inside of football that you need to understand, whether that's analysis, whether that's goal setting, you know, whether that's doing reviews of your own performances. All of that stuff is necessary. And it's transferable skills as well. So, you know, stuff like goal setting is transferable to life. It's not just for football. Stuff like reviews and analysis and all of that sort of stuff, that's necessary as well. And so, I think a lot more needs to be done. And I also think that we do need to stop creating the vortex of football, which is that once you're in it, you're never going to fail. You're only ever going to succeed. Because when somebody does, they've forsaken their GCSEs, their A levels, everything that's important for their lives as humans, because they believed that they were going to get this goal, and then when they don't, because most people don't, what do you have left? Go back and start doing GCSEs at 25. Do you get what I mean? I think a lot more needs to be done to create the balance between this is a job, just like being an accountant is a job. Yes, you love doing it, but so does the person who loves maths and goes into accountancy. It doesn't mean you need to stop school. You need an education, and a proper one, because the stuff that they do, like BTECs and NVQs, is not even serious, and it's all around sport. So what if you fail in the sports industry? You have nothing to go back on in any other industry. And so I think a lot of clubs, in the elite section are starting to wise up to it. Now they have player care, they have like aftercare programs and stuff. I think it's a little late, but I'm glad that they're starting to do it. But I do think we need to get in on the front end as well, rather than the back, and start to really help navigate people's careers successfully. Yes, you can have a full focus on becoming a footballer, but what else is there to your life? And I think that's the key, is that it's a life that you're trying to build. You're not trying to just build a career. That's where your mental health comes in. That's where your emotional health comes in. That's where your relational health comes in, your social health. Are those things important to play football? 1000%. Because if you get dumped by your missus the night before a game and now you're suicidal, you can't play anyway. So you have to deal with these things, and I think there needs to be a lot more support around the person, not just the player. Because I've talked about my book before. We ask those questions. You're right, yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm great, yeah.
But how are you really, kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. And again, most managers, they don't have the time to ask those questions, and they don't really care. Like, you're here to do a job for me, and again, that comes back to the whole job thing. You're here to do a job for me, and that's what I care about. So if you're not performing on the pitch, I'll either get rid of you or I'll ask what's wrong with you. And even when I'm asking what's wrong with you, I'm really asking what's wrong with your performance, not what's wrong with you. But again, your performance on the pitch filters from whatever's going on psychologically, emotionally, physically, socially, relationally. It's just you going on that football pitch is you presenting an extension of what's already going on. And if you have the mental fortitude to shut it all out, then great. But most people don't, because they haven't been trained to do so. So I definitely think a lot of work needs to be done.
And it's just human instinct as well, isn't it? You can be coached and trained how to deal with these kind of things, but if your brain doesn't shut it out, then it's not going to shut it out, and obviously that is going to affect performances. So I think that moves us nicely onto your books. You were just talking about. So firstly, you released What Is a Man in 2021, and then He Wasn't Ready. Was that beginning of this year?
It was November 2024.
24. So I was actually flicking through that this afternoon, and I encourage anyone who's going through kind of a self-development journey and learning about themselves to pick up and read it, because some of the stuff I read briefly flicking through this afternoon is really good and relevant. I mean, we spoke earlier. I've been on that journey myself, and obviously you have writing those books. So did your experience in football help you understand more around or within the societal norms that you talk about?
Yeah, 100%. I think, like I mentioned, football is its kind of own entity. And I think that's what I hate about it. I think football should be within society. Football shouldn't be its own society. And again, you see the common cases of, football players doing things that they shouldn't be doing, football players doing things that are not just illegal, but are unethical. And it kind of gets tarred under the road. It is what it is. You'll see people tweeting and commenting, but when is he back, etc., etc. What's that got to do with football? Well, I mean, he's a member of society, and if he wasn't a footballer, he'd be in jail. So just because he's good at football, why does that mean that he should be on the football pitch? And I think, in my learnings and my experience, I've been able to get a keen grasp of what's going on, and how I can navigate my life through it. I've been a Christian my whole life, and so being able to have my faith has helped me keep grounded throughout all the different, opportunities that get presented, whether they're positive, negative, or in between, and even private or public. I think, that integrity and that commitment to my morals and my principles and my faith has helped me not only to write the books, but it's helped me to stay on the right path. And I think, I could recommend everybody to get saved and become a Christian, but as importantly as that, I think the understanding needs to be that you're not a law unto yourself. And I think that's my problem with, elite anythings, is that, as soon as you become elite, you become, the pinnacle of expectation, the pinnacle of standards in all senses of life, when realistically, you're just good at something, and that's it. Doesn't make you a good person. Doesn't mean that
it doesn't make you a role model.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
And I think that's something. Yeah, I think that's something that I've learned over time, is that it is an unrealistic expectation to expect somebody that's good at a sport to now be your son's role model, unless you're asking him to follow him in football. That's it. And I talk about that in the book. Like, he's not your son's role model. Let's just be honest. And I tell people all the time, like, look, I'm a good guy. Like, I've not done anything. But even me, like, don't put me on a pedestal. Like, I'm just a human being. At some point, I'm going to say something you don't like, and all of a sudden now I'm the devil. And so, if you want your son to follow what I've done in football, 100% cool. I've mentored people. If you feel like, he needs a mentor, that's a good aspect. But I think in terms of role models, real models, whatever you want to call them, you can only really get that through studying someone's life and being part of it. I don't think there's not many people who are qualified to say with true clarity, that this person's the right person for me to follow. This person, I can bank on their life with my house. You can't say that about most people, because most people don't let you in close enough. You're probably following them on social media. You like them because of what they do in terms of their career, but you don't know anything about their lives. You know what they publicize. So I think it's important to, especially in football, measure expectations. Like, no football player asked to be, your son's role model, and so don't expect them to behave accordingly. If they will, and they're not thinking about your son, because they don't even know him. Whereas I think when you have a relationship with people, and again, I mentor quite a lot of young men, you do have those considerations in your head of, how is this not only going to reflect me, how is it going to represent my wife, reflect my family, how would it look on my son, how would it look on my club, but also to the young guys looking at me, what is he going to see when I do this, or if I do this? And it's that level of pressure. I think it's that level of self-awareness, accountability, and responsibility that would allow for somebody to be a good example. And if you're not ready to do that, then don't ask to be a role model, and don't
Yeah. No, I totally agree with everything you said there. And I think that is becoming increasingly, it's becoming more prevalent with the use of social media now at a much younger age as well, from a society issue, not just in football. But going back to your coaching then, so you stepped away from football in 2024. You went to Corinthian under 23s, and then obviously a coach at Sheppey last year, at Hythe from next season. What's your personal goal as a manager? Is it to manage at a higher level, or is it to be a coach or player development at a higher level?
I think it's both. I want to help every player that comes into the building. It's the same thing I did at Corinthian. It's the same goal I had at Sheppey. Yes, I want to make the team better, but I also want to make each individual better. And again, you can ask them if I succeeded or not, but I feel like I did my job, and there was probably a couple of players who noticed that they should have done better if they'd have listened. And again, this is not to say that I'm a genius or anything like that. It's more so I actually care. I care, and I do the work to make sure that every player can improve. And so, for me at Hive, the goal is to help to stabilise the club. It's to help to build this project. And for me, as an individual, I want to maximise my talent, my ability, my purpose. And my purpose is to help people to go from where they are to where they're getting to. And if that's just helping an individual through one-to-one coaching, whether that's helping a young boy through my books, whether that's helping a young person at my church through what I do at church, or whether that's through helping a player to go from step 5 to playing in League One as a manager, or helping a club to go from step 5 to step 3 in 5 years, then the goal is always the same. It's my purpose is to help people to go from where they are to where they want to get to. And so I believe that as a result of that, then whatever level I need to be at and whatever level requires that purpose within their system, I will get to. And I think that's proven already. I've gone from not being a coach at a club to under 23s manager to now first team manager within the space of about 10 months. And so, again, I don't take 100% credit for that. I thank God for, the chairman at Hive who's trusted. I thank God for Ernie at Sheppy, who, God rest his soul, gave me an opportunity, and all the staff there, and also Sue Billings and the club at Corinthian as well, because again, my CV doesn't necessarily stack up in terms of I don't have all the badges in the world. Before Corinthian, I'd never managed a team before, apart from helping a mate with an under-11s team about 5 years ago. But I'd coached and I'd played, and now I think it's the time for me to focus on management and coaching. So, yeah, the goal is to continue to develop as a person, develop as a coach and a manager, and help people in that process as well.
Yeah, well, it's quite clear you've got obviously the football and CV, but I honestly believe people see something in you as well. Just me sat here speaking to you for the last 40 minutes, I can see something in you that's got that drive and it's got that belief in not both yourself, but your ability to help and coach people that will take you to that next level and to take them there as well. So I think that's testament to you and your character there to get these jobs. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how your journey and Hive's journey progresses in the next few years, because from my opinion, it's only going one way, which is up. So, but obviously, best of luck with that. So, just on your books, again, obviously, the purpose was to help younger men and kind of get them to understand who they are against what society wants them to be. Is there any plans for moving forward on that, or do you kind of encapsulate that around your summer camps and your coaching camps? Do you roll that all into one?
Kind of. I mean, there are plans, but my schedule doesn't allow for all of them.
Yeah, it's far too busy.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm full-time in ministry with my church, obviously manage as well, and I run Pro Caliber coaching, which I've had to scale down since I started managing. And so, yeah, there's always plans to continue to help people. I need to do a way better job in promoting my books, because people message me and they're like, "Oh, your book's actually really good," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" They're like, "You should promote it more," and I'm like, "I hate it. I hate self-promotion. Even promoting my camp is like pulling teeth. I just don't. Yeah, I'd rather just be on the ground doing the work." And so, yeah, I'll have a chat to my wife, and she's going to be taking over my social media and stuff because I just don't. I do it because I have to, and even that, I'm like, do I have to? And every post, I'm like grappling with myself. Should I post it?
Yeah.
I'm not really a social media head like that. Like, my wife loves it. Like, she's great at all of that sort of stuff, like the designs and all of that. And so she does most of my designs and stuff, to be fair. But yeah, so even in terms of like the books and stuff, there's a potential for a third one, which I'm kind of conceptualizing at the moment. But I definitely need to do more in terms of promoting in the books and doing stuff with them in terms of, I do book tours now and again, but again, schedule's just got busier, so that's not going to be happening.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, like I said earlier, I think it's brilliant from what I've seen already, and I'm going to continue to read it for my own self-development and my own self-journey, to be honest. So yeah, I like I said, I encourage anyone to take a read of it and go out and find it. And obviously we'll promote it as well off the back of this. So I really appreciate your time, Ira, this evening. I appreciate your time, and hopefully see you next season down at Hive when I'm visiting the in-laws, and yeah, we can have a catch up then.
Yeah, definitely come to the first game of pre-season. We've got folks in as well, so it might be a good one.
Oh wow, even better then. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Ira. Speak to you soon, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Ira Jackson Jr. there. Really great conversation there. Quite a profound character with a lot of belief in himself and a lot of belief in others around him. So I can only see the future being positive for him. Our second guest of the evening is now ready and waiting in the wings. So I'm delighted to welcome England six-a-side team captain and a member of the Baller League Wembley Rangers team is, of course, Ben Long. Hi, Ben. How you doing?
Hello, Dan. Yeah, good, mate. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you for joining this evening.
Yeah.
How's things?
Yeah, good. Yeah. All good. Cracking on, just trying to balance working, playing a load of football, and 2 kids, really, mate. But yeah, it's all good.
Busy times.
Yeah, incredibly, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, you're saying juggling a lot of football you're playing. Obviously, we've seen you play the Ballers League, every Monday. How's that going?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's just like I'm like a bit of a surreal experience. One week you're playing against like an ex-Premier League centre half, then you've got 1 week you've got like a striker, like an icon playing for your team and stuff. It's just been a crazy experience. Like the whole thing, mate. It doesn't seem, it's nothing that I could have ever predicted like 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's definitely making an impression on a lot of people. I think a lot of people at the start thought not too sure about it, but as the weeks have gone on, it's actually there's some very good players there.
Yeah. I mean, I said it to a few of the lads. I think it's going to definitely unearth some top players. There's a few lads there that like early 20s that they're probably playing like step 3. Some even step 2, and they'll be. It's a great shop window for players, especially strikers. Like you can just see natural finishers. One of the guys in particular, there was I don't know if you've been watching it, the guy from United, Tyler.
Tyler Winners.
Yeah. He actually was in my trial team because we had to basically we had to do an application process. Then there was a trial.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there was an application. You write out kind of where you played. Then they invited you to a trial in London, and then from there you had to do all these like games and dribbling skills and all these different things. We got put on a team, and it was like Tyler. My team was proper. I was lucky because we had a really strong team, and it made it a lot easier.
We
had him up front, Bailey Brown in midfield. We had an England futsal player at the back with me, and Jordan, another lad who's a really good player. He's like ex-West Ham. He played, so we absolutely took everyone apart in that team. But I remember Tyler in that. He was extremely direct and raw. He was just getting it, head down, running past, and just smashing. Had a really good shot. I think where the goals are so big there, if you've got someone who can really hit the ball well on target, it's you're definitely gonna score because it's a lot bigger than even 6-a-side goals.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
So they're more like 9-a-side goals then, really.
Yeah. I think the format lends itself they want as many goals as possible.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it interesting, and they want goals, and obviously they don't want low scoring games. They're looking for kind of as many goals as possible. It's not like when I go away with England, and you're playing with those 6-a-side goals. They seem minuscule compared to those ones. So,
wow, there has been a lot of goals. Is obviously what was there? A couple of fireballs last on Monday night, and some really big games. And I think now, you're getting to know the teams better as well. I'm kind of more of a, I don't know. I don't want to say like a characteristic level because they're not characters, if that makes sense. But you get to know the personalities and the players, and I think it's going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
Obviously, you find yourself second bottom. Has it been as challenging as that suggests?
It's been tough. I mean, there's a few games where it's like you look back and you go like, we should have won that, could have got something there, and it's all like if, buts, and maybes. I mean, I definitely think, you know, the game that Deeney played for us. It absolutely killed us.
Loose cannon. Yeah.
We're playing in like a certain way. I don't know too tactical, but like we basically set up as a 3 and a 2 with the two strikers are like quite pivotal because you need them almost like coming in and helping defend.
Yeah.
Deeney just went straight. He just ran straight forward. I went, has he not been listening like to what we've just basically worked on the last week and that? And it just made it. It was basically like playing with a man less because he just wouldn't do anything defensively. And like, I think if we would have had the even like the lad Ruben who normally plays in there, I think we probably would have won that game. And then, you know, it's obviously you can say that, you know, everyone can say that, but I think we've lacked, you know, I think the first, you know, when they did the draft, it was difficult for the managers to really know who they're picking.
Yeah.
I think they don't really knew up to like round 4 or 5 maybe, and then after that they're just guessing on players and they're not their players they want. You're getting lucky. I mean, that's the thing with Tyler. Look, he was the last person picked. They said, who supports Man United, who's a striker, and he put his hand up, they picked him, and now he's one of the best players down there. So I think that says it all, really, you know, until everyone gets in maybe the players that they want and everyone gets into a system. But yeah, it's great working with Ian Wright. We've really enjoyed it. Obviously Chloe as well. It's fantastic. And Ross, our England manager, he's been involved in like the coaching side of it. So he's installed a lot of like the six-a-side stuff, but there's not much, like, it's a very steep learning curve. Like, you're just going straight into games. You've not played together first game, and it's been tough. But yeah, I think really enjoying it. And hopefully we can build and hopefully I'm in the second season and we can build again and get a few more results.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Obviously, I'll continue to watch. I think I've found my new team. It was 26ers because of John Terry, but it's got to be Wembley now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. We've actually got them this week, and it's nice because the last 2 games we've kicked off at about 10:15, and probably got home at like 2 a.m. So I'm actually buzzing to have a normal kickoff time where I'm not having a load of Pro Plus to keep me up at night.
Yeah, that must be obviously when you go and play away with England on the six-a-side. We'll touch on that shortly, but obviously you've got the time differences there, so you are playing later in I guess your body clock, but it feels different, doesn't it? Because you've been within that culture for a little bit before you start playing. Yeah.
I mean, we've got the World Cup in Baku in 3 weeks, so I think they're like 3 hours in front, but even with that, because we've got Ballers League on the Monday, and 3 of us, well, actually out of the squad of Ballers League, there's like 6 of us out of the squad of 12 that are playing at teams, all different teams. So we're actually playing the Monday night game, flying Tuesday night. We land Wednesday morning, and then I think we got Ukraine Wednesday night because we wanted to play the Ballers League game. So I think we just get through that Wednesday game against Ukraine and then see if we can get something and go from there.
Well, I personally, being a bit ignorant to it, I was unaware because I just thought you had like the 11-a-side, then you had futsal, and then you had like beach soccer and stuff like that. So what's the difference between, obviously, an extra player, but what's the difference between futsal and six-a-side?
So futsal, the ball's heavier. It's played on like a polished indoor surface, and it's just there are a lot of similarities, but I would say it's just the six-a-side that I play is just basically like a scaled down version of football. So all the rules are exactly the same,
right?
But futsal, they've kind of made it a bit more geared up to kind of like it's a lot more like soul roll because you play in like flat trainers and stuff like, and it's all on the and the ball's a lot heavier, so it's a lot. It's a fantastic game. I mean, I think futsal itself needs to be pushed a lot more. Neither of them really are like too affiliate. The FA pushed a lot with futsal a few years back, but I think they've not really. They've kind of stood back from that now. But yeah, that's kind of the main differences. The ball, mini football, what I play is literally the same as football, all the same rules and stuff. So even like
smaller version.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that then? Was it just you were playing or training small-sided games and you found
there's like I don't know if you're aware, but like there's like a circuit, like a 5-a-side, 6-a-side circuit around the UK. So you've got teams from like all over the place that kind of come together in tournaments. You get like Lucozade, Powerade, Gillette, all these companies put on tournaments down Goals and Power League. Right. And that's kind of how the scene of teams like started. And I mean, this has been going. I mean, I started playing with England like 11 years ago, like first or second side. So there was like tournaments going on there, you down Power League, and I was in a team called Top Draw, and our team, we had Kurt, Herbert, Harry, Healy, me, Chris Page, and either Aaron Morgan or Les, or like we always had kind of filled one other player in, and our team just won absolutely everything in that period. We won we probably won like about 25, 30 nationals. Yeah. We won the World Cup of 5-a-side. We went out to Poland, won that. Like we've done loads on that small circuit scene. Like we've won loads of different. The amount of kind of like trophies. My missus every time I come home, she gets me to even this year we've won about 5 or 6 trophies up. But it's I just have to chuck them up in the loft. She always goes mad. But yeah, from there ended up being someone found out in the UK that there was this governing body called the EMF, European Mini Football, and they approached someone in the UK and said, look, do you want to put a team together and go from there? So they approached the top 5-a-side team, MDU at the time, and then they put together a team, and then me and a few of the other lads that played for other teams just ended up getting drafted in. And I think it was 2013 was our first tournament to Crete. So we went away with the lads, and then just kind of from there it just kind of grew and grew, and then new managers come in. You had like a whole, there's like chairman, there's like a whole structure of this UK European like the UK version of it and version, and then it's just grown and grown kind of year on year, and then I've just been involved in it ever since. Really been to like kind of 7 or 8 tournaments. We've got the World Cup coming up. We went to the Euros. There's like loads of different kind of things that they put on, but it's really good. I would say kind of it's let's be honest, like it's not professional. The standard's good, but it's as kind of good as like a lot of what we'll play and stuff. And you're playing for England, so it's always nice to
well, that's it. It doesn't matter what sport, what level, you're representing your country, aren't you? So it's brilliant. And obviously you're the captain now as well, coming into the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm the captain. I've been around it quite a long time and stuff, and I've been the captain of a few different teams with different managers. So hopefully this year we've got a really good team. We've got a nice mix of like older players, like kind of such as myself, and then some of the younger through as well. Yeah.
Not drafting anyone from the Ballers League in, not just yet.
Do you know what? It's interesting you say that, because I think it's come a bit too soon, the Ballers League thing. Because I reckon obviously Ross will be looking for players. He's already kind of seen because it's like the perfect place to pick the best players from. It's like literally you can literally pick these players. It is a different type of football. It's funny when you watch the Ballers League stuff and you watch the European mini football, because it's a lot more like rigid European game. Like they're way more defensive, and when you watch Ballers, it's a lot more exciting, and people are just flooding forward. And if you watch European mini football, it's a lot more rigid. The build up slower. They use the keeper a bit. They do like blocks. They do it's like a bit of a different game to Ballers League. Ballers League is very like kind of a direct. I find a lot of shooting. The corner thing in Ballers League is crazy as well, and the 3 quarters is a penalty, which I try and utilize that as much as possible, because it's I mean, you think about it.
Yeah, it's a
three
good
corners is
perk to
basically
have, isn't it? Especially when the clock's running down and have a shot, trying to get a nick or deflection, and you're there, aren't you? So
yeah.
I think like you say, it's good for the entertainment value, but
Yeah.
transferring that into small-sided football, I think question marks be raised or eyebrows be raised. But the World Cup, you've got Hungary, Ukraine, and Turkey in your group.
Yeah.
Doing my very, very brief research on the mini football kind of landscape, Hungary look kind of a decent side, do they?
They're good. Yeah. It's funny actually, because we're in a World Cup and we've got 3 European teams.
3 European.
It's unfortunate, because obviously you want to play teams from everywhere and stuff, and you want to see, you want to kind of play against these different teams. But yeah, like we know we've played against a lot of these teams in the past. They're very like organized. These the European teams. They play a lot different to the South American teams and the teams. I know a lot of the Turkish lads. We played against them a few times, and yeah, the Ukrainians are good, and yeah, they're all really good teams. If you want to see like the Kazakhstan boys, they're really good. Azerbaijan are really, really good. We played France recently. They came over and played like a Tri-Nations tournament with. Yeah, it's interesting when you watch like the teams. They either play like 6-a-side, like traditional 6-a-side, which is a lot more like rigid and blocking, or they play in like a futsal style, which is a lot more like they use the keeper. You can tell the teams that are futsal teams just the way they play. Like everything's soul roll, and they use keepers and the movements and stuff. Like Belgium, for instance, like they came over. They had like 4 ex-pros from like Anderlecht, Udinese. Like they were serious. Yeah, they were really, really good when they played us. But yeah, there's some top teams like Czech Republic, always good. Romania have been Romania are like the go-to team. Like they're like the team to beat in the whole thing. Like I think they're almost like professional, the Romanians. Like they've got teams that fund their club sides and they go around and play in tournaments and stuff around the world.
That's incredible, because they lost to Serbia, didn't they, last World Cup?
Yeah. I mean, I have to kind of look back at the teams. I know Azerbaijan done. I think they won the last Euros. My last tournament, I missed the last 2 with injuries, but I played in the Slovakia one, and Azerbaijan. I think they beat Romania, I think, in that one. But yeah, it's like it's always the same teams that are always up there, and they're just it's like how we play Sunday League over here. They'll play 6-a-side over there. That's like their game. So like when we're playing against them, like sometimes they look at us and they're like, "Why are you not doing that?" Like we went over to Czech Republic a few years ago, like to do like a training camp, and then we played them. We did like a training session before, and they're like trying to teach. It was funny because we like tried to teach. They were like trying to teach us everything, and then we played them on their like national team, basically the equivalent of their BBC One. And then we ended up beating them 3-2, and it turned like they were like nearly turned into a fight. But yeah, we ended up beating them on their kind of like, it was good.
Yeah, I think that was going to be my question. Is it a cultural thing for more of the nations over, I guess, more east, that they kind of play that smaller sided games like they do in, I guess, Southern Europe as well? When you're a kid, you're playing futsal, you're playing small-sided games, it's a lot more technical, whereas we're straight into full-sided games.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Every like little town you go to in these countries in Eastern Europe, they've all got like 6-a-side pitches, and I think you can see like they're a lot more comfortable like on the ball, and like the way they play. It's different, isn't it? It's a lot different. And stuff, but yeah, like when you go to Czech Republic, they've got proper structured national leagues where they play each other.
Oh, wow.
It really is. It's really eye-opening when you go out there and see like their setup. Same as Romania. Like we don't really have like 6-a-side clubs over here. There's no one really recognised. They've got like actual clubs that go like across countries and stuff and play teams.
So they play like, I guess, like continental competitions as well. I'm assuming based around that kind of area.
There's like a Champions League for it every year. So they'll like Romania will put in like 3 teams, Czech Republic will put in 3 teams, Azerbaijan, it's like a proper league. It's weird because you wouldn't until you like
no, you wouldn't think it.
You wouldn't even think it, and then you kind of you start like watching it and stuff, and it's really good. Like you say, it's always like the Eastern European teams that they're really they take it really seriously.
So do you see in the future it taking off over here, as in having a league or regional leagues?
It's hard. I mean, I see the Baller League thing taking off more than that, if I'm being honest, just because there's so much like funding behind the Ballers League. So much. Like, I think they're going to make it. It has to be a success with the amount of like traction it's gained, the celebrities, and names like John Terry, like Figo, all of these like big names and stuff. It's like it has to take off. Like it just, and it's being watched by a lot of people. It's
very successful in Germany, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they're getting paid like 800 quid a game. The players now, and it's crazy. That's like it's good money for that. You're going to get good players for that.
Yeah, 100%. Do you think that's evolved? Do you think it will evolve to be more, not more professional? Because I think obviously you train and there's a lot of professionalism that goes into it. But do you think it will evolve to take less entertainment for higher quality players moving forward?
I mean, I know what you mean, but I think they love all that crazy stuff. It's like it's very big in media and stuff, and it's very like when you're there, it's like you can see it's media focused. It's not so much about like you say, like high quality. It is about that, but it's also about like the silly stuff that gets clicks for them and views. That a lot of it is
that's the money maker.
That's why it makes so much money, and that's why they can afford. I mean, just with the wages on the players, it's something like 56 grand a week on wages. When you add up each player, so it's 400 quid a player and like a squad of 10, that's 4 grand a team. Like you do the maths on it, and then the managers and stuff, they've got some budget. When you look at, I mean, hiring, like what it's crazy that the kind of the money behind it, which is, I mean, I think it's been big success. You're always going to get. You're always in this day and age with like, you're always going to get purists that don't want to see this stuff. But I think it's good, and it's good for. It's
exciting. It's exciting for people to watch, because personally for me, watching some Premier League games, I just sit there and I find myself doing other things because
I know,
it's become too tactical, almost.
Too tactical, too rigid. Yeah, I mean that's why I like watching Championship and League 1, League 2 football a lot of time instead, because that's a lot more attacking and. Yeah,
it's like played with a lot of it's played with emotion rather than thinking about it, and it becomes boring sometimes. Where something like this, I think it's come at the right time, especially with, I guess, the younger generation. They're really locked into it because it's quick, it's exciting. The games are they're a half hour, are they? 25 minutes?
Half an hour. Well, really, if you don't play the game change, it's like 12 minutes. Game changer, like some games you can like play half the half, like if you're switching with another defender, play 6 minutes, then they play 6 minutes, then it's a game changer where it's a 1-on-1, you play 6 minutes that half.
That's insane. So that's what I think it's got people that probably wouldn't sit down and watch a 90-minute game watching it because of how quick and exciting it is, which I think is great. I think, like you said, it is going to take off.
I suppose it's like the 2020 with the cricket, I suppose, isn't it? It's
it's exactly like that. It's a different game, but it's under the same sport kind of thing. So just going back again to your history, you have played a lot of 11-a-side as well, haven't you? Around I think most notably Colney Heath, London Colney, but you also at the likes of Barnet, Hearts, played over in Iceland.
Iceland. I mean, I started at Barnet and then got signed by Hearts. I was up there in Scotland for 2 years. Played out in Iceland for like 2.5 seasons. Played out in Turkey. Played for played for Yeovil. Played for Northampton for a little bit. Played at Welling Garden City. That's probably where I played. In terms of semi-pro, like I was most settled and stuff. And it was a good bunch of lads there. Done well at Welling. Adam Fisher was the gaffer down there at the time, and Dan Norris got me in there. And I think he was on here the other week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, we had him and Mezza on.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's enjoyable. It's always hard going from like full time to like semi-pro and balancing stuff. You know, it's like it's it can be difficult. But yeah, no, I've not really played a full season. So it's probably Southall was my last club where I was playing regularly, like a full season. Where we had a good side there as well, to be fair. But yeah, during COVID and stuff, that was kind of after that. I've not really. I wouldn't say I've given it a full go since then.
Well, with other things like the six-a-side stuff, then that's taking priority, isn't it? So
yeah, that's it.
To play with England, travel the world. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
I mean, at some point, I was literally, when I was finishing up, I was like with 11s, I was doing like it was literally Friday was the only day I wasn't playing football. I was like Saturday matches, Sunday 6-a-side, Monday 5-a-side, Tuesday game, Wednesday 5-a-side, Thursday training 11s, Friday off. I was doing like 6 days a week, and I thought,
I bet your missus loved you.
Oh yeah. As soon as the kids come along, that got kind of shelved. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? That circumstances change, especially when it's not pro and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's it.
But so, what's next for you after playing? Are you looking to go into the coaching side of sixes or into 11, back into 11-a-side?
Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, I'm just trying to play as long as possible and just, keeping as good a shape as I can and stuff. Obviously I'd like to keep going with Ballers League while I can, and with England, I mean, maybe help out with on the coaching side with England, and we've got a good group there with like some younger managers coming through and stuff. And I mean, I'm captain as well, so I suppose it would be natural kind of progression to kind of go into some sort of coaching thing. So just taking it, like you say, just taking it as I come, really, just trying to keep up with all the young lads at the minute.
Keeping you fit though, that's for sure.
That's it.
Is there any way we can watch the World Cup?
Yeah. If you go on, it's I'll send the link over. It's like World Mini Football or European Mini Football. That's the YouTube thing, and they normally stream the whole tournament on there.
Okay.
And even if you Google and put that in YouTube now, you can probably see all the old games from like previous tournaments and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So you get an idea of like how it's played, and all like if you follow like the Instagram, like European Mini Football, World Mini Football, and then England 6-a-side. It's you can see all the stuff on there. But it's like you say, it would be good if it does grow. I mean, it's funny because when you go to Ballers League and you saw these trials, these players, I'm thinking, God, we could do with like 5 or 6 of these coming up. I was like, when we did, because if we're the England stuff, we do trials for the England 6-a-side. So if anyone ever wants to get involved with that, just contact. Like if there's good players, they will definitely get a look in with. We've got a lot of good players, and you can take a good 11-a-side player and teach them like the fundamentals of sixes. Obviously it is a little bit different, but if you're a good finisher, if you can dribble with the ball, if you're a strong defender, that can all translate into being a really good 6-a-side player. So definitely try and if you ever want to get involved, any good young players, especially. I think we've got an under-23s team as well that went away. So they're trying to make a proper structure, like a youth team.
That's good.
Do that. So it's a good setup.
I guess it just needs its exposure as well, and maybe with Ballers League that may play into it. People are going to start looking more at small-sided games. So it could obviously just grow. So obviously this Monday coming, you've got 26ers, and then the following Monday you've got a game, and then 2 days later you're at the World Cup. So
that's
busy month for you.
Yeah, it's non-stop, mate. Yeah, I'm probably the fittest now that I've ever been. The amount of football,
playing all the time.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Hopefully coming back to the end of the Ballers League with your World Cup medal and showing that off.
Nice,
I think that's the pinnacle, isn't it? That's going to be better than any medal they win.
I know that would be. Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind a World Cup. Yeah.
So finally, 2 questions. Who's making the top 4 of Ballers League? I know that was the question on Monday from a lot of the pundits.
I think the standout teams, obviously, I think United, the way they're playing, they just attack. They get the ball forward quickly, score goals. And I think there's goals all over the team with those boys. So I think they're going to be up there. Dayport Trio, another good. I know they got absolutely smashed the other night.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
But I think they've got good quality. You know, you've got someone like Lescott to bring. They've got good draft players, good wild card, that they're bringing in, and they've still got like, I think Polo, the lad that they've got, he's probably he's one of the best, I think, down there. Definitely in the top 5 players. He's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
I think he's at Dover at the minute. He's just got promoted with the lad who plays up front, Junior, who plays for us. He plays alongside him there.
Yeah. They got promoted on Monday, didn't they?
Yeah. So I'd say probably Dayport Trio, United, and then I don't know. Vision are good. Vision are kind of pushing at the minute, but yeah. And then I think the 4th spot is between whoever has a good run at the minute. I mean, I'd love to say us, but at the minute I think I'm just happy with a couple more wins at the end of this year. But
yeah, it's got a big run.
Yeah, I think even like 26ers, they seem like dark horses at the minute because they've now found their feet.
They're kind of gelling a bit more, aren't they?
Yeah, you've got the guys. It's Saka-san, his name. He looks really good.
Yeah.
Bilal looks really good. They've got some good players there. So yeah, they're I think it's going to be a good game with them on Monday. I'm looking forward to playing them. But yeah, I think like you say, I think I said it with anyone on their day in any team can beat any team. That's what it is there. Anyone, if they kind of have a good day against someone there with the format, everyone's got players that can like change games and stuff. So all it needs is one of your strikers to put you 2-0 up, and you get the right game changer, and then all of a sudden the game's almost done. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully
well, a few more wins, it could push you right up the table. So
yeah, I know it's close, but it's been we've enjoyed it anyway. The lads have enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's good, and obviously grow with that as well. And then obviously the World Cup. Obviously, you're going to win it, but who's going to be your challenger?
Yeah, so there's a few, to be fair, that we need to look out for. Like I say, Kazakhstan, Romania, Czech Republic. They're like the 3 that I know that are going to be the ones I know that I've played against already. That I'm kind of looking forward to. I'd like to play against some of the other countries as well, because I've not really played much against a lot of the other South American teams and stuff. So I think USA as well they've got a strong team.
I mean, they've got enough people to pick from.
I know, yeah, they can turn their hand to any sport, can't they?
Yeah. Well, I guess they take a lot because they get a lot of scholars over there, don't they, doing the football program. So I guess if they introduce that into it as well, they can start really building.
Have you seen that TS7 as well? The
I have. So
it's growing out there with it's $1 million prize, isn't it? It's like
So I watched the last couple because there's a lad who used to play in our league for Camberley. He's now at Tunbridge Angels, Gianluca Botti.
Oh yeah.
So he went over and played out there last summer. Yeah, and I watched it on YouTube, and there's some big names out there as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I think like Nani's got a team, isn't he? And some proper high level ex pros and stuff. I think a few of the lads I know have gone out there as well.
It's a good tournament actually. I forgot about that. It's really good.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. You never know. I could get in there one day as well.
One last go.
Yeah.
Well, take your because you won pub to park as well, didn't you? With your
that was at Wembley Stadium. Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah, I think to date that's probably one of the best things we've won. And what a team we had there, by the way. Like we had a fantastic team. It's nice when you're turning up with that team. I knew before we'd even started the game. Obviously, I knew it was going to be a tough game, but I was looking around and it was like he's step 3, he's step 2. He's like like you're looking around and there's just quality all over the pitch. And I was like,
as long as you turn up, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, playing 11-a-side game at Wembley Stadium and it's just fantastic. And winning in that, it's got to be it's one of the best.
Yeah, like you say, other than playing for your country, which you've done, and now captaining, playing at Wembley's the next best thing, isn't it? It's the pinnacle. So
hopefully they do that, put that tournament on again. Because I always thought it was affiliated with BT Sports, but obviously they've changed to TNT. and then they actually run the tournament again, but they did it at St George's Park.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's we ended up losing, I think, in the semis to that. We literally went with a bare 11 this time up to St George's Park, but yeah, it's hopefully they run it again, and they were talking about doing it at Tottenham Stadium maybe next year and stuff. So yeah, hopefully that's
another thing that'd be good.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for joining me this evening. Really appreciate it. Obviously, I know you're very, very busy.
Yeah,
and it's a busy time for you, but best of luck over the next few weeks. And hopefully when we catch up, you'll be a World Cup winner.
Brilliant, mate. Yeah, nice one, mate. Cheers.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Nice one. Catch you later.
Take care. Bye,
Bye,
mate. So Ben Long there, England six-a-side captain, Wembley Rangers, Baller League, and ex-pro, Hearts, Barnet. A brilliant to catch up with him. A brilliant episode with Ira as well. Keep across our socials for FA Vars and FA Trophy updates on Sunday, and we'll catch you all then.